It's up to you now, Duck, he said. I must stop them. I must. The station came nearer and nearer. The last coach cleared the platform. It's too late. A barber had set up shop in a wooden shed in the yard. He was shaving a customer. The customer jumped nervously, but the barber held him down. It's only an engine, he said calmly, and went on lathering.
If you were to ask a Thomas fan what would be the top runaways in the series, one of the first answers would probably be a close shave. For me, this story is a nail-biting experience. A heavy goods train hurtling after Duck and his crew, the only ones whose risk-taking efforts prevent a serious accident. Whilst the real incident of an engine crashing into a barbershop is comical, it did happen, even down to a similar method of the barber calming his customer. However, the real story wasn't at the end of a railway siding, but at the end of a railway station. Paragon Station was originally opened in 1847 by the York and North Midland Railway, to serve the city centre of Hull in Yorkshire. The station changed design and ownership over the years, eventually becoming part of the northeastern region of British Railways. Paragon has a variety of businesses, at one point having a barber shop at the end of Platform 9. It was owned by Mr. Bransky, with two barbers named Cyril Palin and Harold Healy. At this time, Bransky had worked at the station for 36 years, but had never had quite the unusual customer he was about to receive. It made its visit on the 19th of October 1955, when the 1:02 p.m. service from Wakefield was arriving into Platform 9. The train was being pulled by number 42553, an LMS Class 4P, with driver Joseph Fisher at the controls. As the train coasted into the station, Fisher attempted to apply the brakes, but found to his horror that they had failed. In the barber shop, Palin, who was cutting a customer's hair, looked up to see the train coming towards the window, and shouted frantically, "It's not going to stop!" The large tank engine uprooted the buffer stop and plowed through the concrete platform, twisting its leading bogie. The splintered buffer stop, meanwhile, was flung through the wall of the barber shop, right above one of the chairs. Fortunately, Palin and the customer were using the chair furthest from the window, but both were badly shaken. Healy later said, "For a moment, I couldn't move. Then I continued cutting the customer's hair to calm him down." No coaches of the train were derailed, although 5 passengers had minor injuries, all suffering bruises and head wounds from being thrown about by the impact. The accident unfolded in sight of the station's Hull Daily Mail newsstand, and a journalist was immediately on the scene taking interviews. Percy Fomery, who was passing behind the buffer stop moments before the crash, said, "I was just going on my way home for dinner. I saw the train was coming far too fast to stop. It was only a few yards away from me." A railway clerk, Gordon Watkinson, was entering parcels in the parcels office when a piece of ceiling fell on his head, caused by the thunderous vibration of the crash. "I wasn't hurt particularly, but it certainly shocked me," he grinned. All of the witnesses' accounts would be published in that evening's paper. With the assistance of workmen and station staff, the mess was cleared up, and 2 days later the barber shop was reopened to customers. Today, Paragon Station continues to be operated by Trains Penny Express. The barber shop, meanwhile, would eventually close to business, and the building would remain empty for decades. In recent years, however, it has found a new lease on life as a coffee shop, its new customers likely unaware that nearly 70 years ago, an engine had cut through the platform they were standing on. 3 years after the accident, the Reverend Wilbert Awdry would repurpose the story for his Duck and the Diesel Engine book, published in 1958. It would have been interesting if Wilbert stuck to the station terminus setting and had Duck crash into the barber shop at Tidmouth. Although, knowing our great Western hero, he would have definitely gotten the train under control, even if in the final story he was a few yards off.
"I do not like engines popping through my walls," he fumed. "I appreciate your feelings, but you must know that this engine and his crew have prevented a serious accident." The Fat Controller paused impressively. "It was a very close shave." "Oh," said the barber. "Oh, excuse me." He ran into his shop, fetched a basin of water, and washed Duck's face.